This is Jason Lyons on behalf of the Sun Motor Company looking into potential EV expansion. First off, for the past 40 years, the need for EVs has substantially decreased with cars becoming more fuel efficient. But what does this mean for us and our potential EVs? Well, decreased CO2 emissions means less need for EV cars. On the other hand, EVs have the capability to reduce the CO2 emissions to zero, which gas can never do. But how does this affect sales? This affects the sale of EVs because the reduced need for EVs may cause people to no longer find a need to buy them. But since emissions will never hit zero with EVs, people will still realize that they're needed, and this will cause people to buy EVs. Unfortunately, because of the size of the US and its varying population densities, the chargers for EVs are not spread equally throughout the US, but are rather condensed into certain areas of the US, such as the East and West Coast. So people who have to frequently travel to other places will be unable to travel because of a lack of infrastructure and are not as likely to buy an EV car. EVs also have a very small range per tank compared to their gas-powered counterparts. This is in combination with limited charging stations in certain areas, makes it unreasonable to drive an EV a long distance, which takes away from who we can potentially sell to. Even in parts of the US that contain large amounts of chargers, not all of them are constantly available for a multitude of reasons. The first being time restrictions. Some are only available during certain parts of the day. The second reason is certain companies have their own specific chargers, or the charger belongs to a company that only lets certain people use it. Lastly, some chargers require some form of payment to be able to use. All of these are reasons why operating an EV would be more difficult, which causes less people to buy them. Hertz, a popular retail company, is selling off 20,000 EVs, which is 1/3 of their fleet. But what does this mean for the EV market? Temporarily, people will be able to purchase cheap EVs, and this will decrease the price of all EVs because it will increase the number that are available to buy. Also, people that are looking to buy EVs are now worried that their cost of repair are going to be higher than what they can originally handle, because if a large company is selling off their EVs for repair reasons, then how would any other normal person be able to afford repairs? Despite all of these reasons that people would not buy EVs, the actual sale of EVs has increased over the last couple years and is still on an upward trend. The government is a heavy supporter of an EV future, which can be seen from actions such as the creation of the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law, Inflation Reduction Act, and the Department of Energy programs. Things like the Bipartisan Infrastructure Law provide money for chargers and have goals that are to be completed by 2030. The Inflation Reduction Act offers tax credits for both EV purchases and charger installations to any person in the US. The Department of Energy programs offer various grants and loans to support EV research and development, which can help improve our technology. Not only is the government currently supporting EV infrastructure now, but they also have plans in the future which will encourage more EV sales later on. Some of their future plans are public-private partnerships, increased focus on innovation, and addressing equity throughout the US. Public-private partnerships is the government working with private companies to invest in building charging infrastructure. A focus on future innovation is the Department of Energy supporting research to improve charging technologies such as faster charging and wireless charging. Addressing equity throughout the US would be low-income communities or rural areas to have access to EV charging. Overall, the Sun Motor Company should invest in the sale of EVs. Currently, the production of EVs may not be profitable or will generate minimal profit because of reduced need for EVs, lack of infrastructure, minimal battery range, lack of chargers, and high repair cost. While all these factors seem like reasons to never produce EVs, in the long term, the sale of EVs will be a very lucrative business. For this reason, the number of sales is already increasing. As time goes on, the price to repair, build, and create new EVs will go down. The government is currently sponsoring lots of infrastructure for EVs, and the government has full intentions to continue to sponsor EV infrastructure and has future plans to improve it even further. Overall, the Sun Motor Company should invest in the future and should invest in the sale of EVs.